Okay, hello, this is Adrian again, and this is grade time 4, unit 7. And this is the last video of a series of videos that I have recorded for you, okay? And in this video, we're going to talk about stereotypes. What are stereotypes? Have you ever heard of this word? Let's take a look at the definition. So stereotype is, what are they? Is a fixed idea about what groups of people are like. Okay, so what does that mean? Sometimes you think of, for example, look, an Italian or Italian people. How do you think they are? Sometimes this image comes to your mind. People that are very happy, they sing, they eat spaghetti, they drink wine, they're always together and having fun. So that's what comes to your mind. Yeah, isn't it true? So that is a typical Italian stereotype. Is it true? Does it really apply to all Italian people? Or it's only an image that you have in your mind about the Italian? So that is what the stereotype is all about, okay? It's this fixed idea or image that you have about a certain group of people. Okay, take a look at this one. So this is the American stereotype. You know, some Americans are chubby. They like to take photos as a tourist. You know, they are very easygoing, and that's the way some people have in their minds, you know, about Americans. What about this one? Russian people. That is the typical Russian stereotype. A guy with this kind of hat, woolen hat or fur hat, drinking vodka and with this coat. And what about Brazilian? Brazilian stereotype from people who are not Brazilian. What comes to their mind when they think of Brazilians? They think of carnival, samba, football, and this is the kind of things that people usually think about Brazilians. But do you think all Brazilians like soccer, like football, like samba, like the carnival? Probably not, right? So that is a stereotype. The German stereotype, a guy drinking, a beer and eating sausages and with this hat. And so this is what comes to your mind, you know. Sometimes you go to those German parties like Oktoberfest or something, and everybody's wearing this kind of clothes. Okay, so this is a stereotype as well. And what about the Japanese? Yeah, sometimes you think that the Japanese people wearing kimonos, eating sushi with chopsticks. Okay, and the stereotypes. They apply not only to nationalities, but to groups of people as well. For example, for men, what are typical man things and what are typical women things? This is a gender-based stereotype. Okay? Now let's take a look at our books. We have some questions there that we have to think about. So here in your book you have 3 questions. Think about your own country or region of your country. Okay, so do people from other places have fixed ideas about the people who live there? So do people from other countries have fixed idea about Brazilians? Yes, we've talked about this previously, and we saw that they usually have a fixed stereotype about Brazilians, carnival, samba, football. And why do you think people have these ideas? So maybe because of the media, television, books, okay, internet. And number 3, do you think there is any truth in the stereotypes of your country or region? What do you think? Probably this is a typical thing that happens in that country. For example, let's talk about Brazil. There is carnival, there is samba, there is soccer. Soccer is a very strong sport of our culture, but probably that doesn't mean that everybody likes it or everybody is into it, okay? So there is a certain truth about it, but it's not something generalized, I would say. Now let's watch a video, a very funny video about a guy in a very brief moment, like 60 seconds, showing the stereotypes of different countries and nationalities. Let's watch it.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you. I highly appreciate everything that you do.
Okay, so let's move on to exercise 2. Some stereotypes are about nationalities, as we saw in the video, as we saw previously. What other groups of people are there stereotypes about? So write a list, then compare your ideas. So the stereotypes are not only about nationalities, but they can be about, for example, let's think together about like man versus woman. So this is a man's job. This is a woman's job. This is what men are supposed to do, like, I don't know, engineering, and women should be teachers and nurses, for example. Man should know how to fix things around the house, and women should know how to cook. So this could be a stereotype about man versus woman. Yes, like a gender-based stereotype. People from big cities like this one, they are like, you know, they have a certain qualities, and they're different from people from small cities, small towns. Yeah, so what comes to your mind when you think of a person from a small town and a person from a big city? So these are other stereotypes. Like teenagers, this is a specific group of people. So what is your stereotype about teenagers? Oh, all teenagers are lazy, or they don't like to study, or they like to play video games. But do you think all of them are like that? Okay. Right. I hope you had a good idea and understanding about stereotypes. All right. So let's see here. Let's move on to. Okay. So, and finally here you have a writing. So that's optional. Okay. So you could write an article from about 80 to 120 words for a school magazine about a national stereotype. Okay, a culture that some people in your country see as a stereotype, in our case in Brazil. Why you think this stereotype exists, okay, and why this stereotype is strong. So you should write about Brazilians now, about your own nationality, and submit it to your teacher for correction and considerations and analysis. Okay, so thank you very much. And that's the end of Unit 7, Grade Time 4. See you next class in Unit 8. Bye-bye.